bringing together business leaders and experts from India and UAE. The Uttar Pradesh Investment Forum was a unique platform that engaged with investors from around the world with the aim of highlighting Uttar Pradesh as an important investment destination.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for being here this evening at the Uttar Pradesh Investment Forum 2016 right here in Dubai. We have a very eminent panel that's going to be speaking with us, several one-on-one discussions that we're going to be having as well. But I'd like to kick this evening off with a brief introduction being given to us by Naveen Chandra, Head of International Business at the Times Network.
A very warm welcome to this special edition of the UP Investment Summit. Indians abroad are doing so well that they actually remit more than FDI as remittances into India. It is now a very known fact in the Middle East that there are 40 Indians in the Middle East whose combined wealth is $60 billion, right? So there's a lot of wealth in this region. And therefore, I believe that the Investment Forum in Dubai is the right and the apt platform for investors from Dubai to look at UP. Now, UP is a very, very interesting state. Not only is it the largest state in India, but it also has 16% of members of Indian Parliament from the state. That makes it a very, very powerful lawmaking force in India. It also has the largest number of mobile connections. It also has the largest number of road connectivity. It also has the largest railway network. So UP has absolutely all the credentials for being a market of immense interest to the diaspora in the Middle East.
And I'd now like to invite Kulwant Singh, President of the IBPC Dubai, to give us his address.
India and UAE goes many, many years back. Trade between both the nations have crossed $60 million. And with the recent visits of high-level delegations from both the nations, there is an expected 60% growth in the next few years. The high-level delegation signifies seriousness of taking this relationship forward. It also shows how keen the head of states are to take steps to promote and enhance trade links between both the nations. Various ministerial visits have taken place after the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, the Minister of Commerce, the Union Finance Minister, to see and exchange enhanced dialogues with the Indian diaspora in this part of the world. IBPC and its members have invested on many projects in India. Today, they will witness a lot more opportunities that are available for them to seek investments in UP government.
Thank you very much for that, Kulwant. We also have a presentation by Mr. Manoj Singh, the MD of the Uttar Pradesh State Industrial Development Corporation.
As you know, UP is a very large state, and it's most populous with 16% of the population of India residing over there. It's second largest contributing economy, contributing to 8.5% of GDP. Now this year, it's 9.2% of GDP. It's fourth largest state with 7.3% of the geographical land. And with this strength, UP is the heartland of India. We call it Umeedon ka Pradesh, with lots of opportunity, lots of potentiality, and that's why Umeedon ka Pradesh. So the rising income in the country enhances the consumer base, and as you know, when the income rises, the economic law of angel operates, and there is more investment in lifestyle products, consumer goods, rather than cereals and food. So 14 projects worth 11,000 crores has been given incentives of more than 7,000 crores. Now this is a huge amount of incentive. So that is one of the attraction to come in UP, because now for a mega project, we say that you come with your own wish list and tell the government, and we will decide it accordingly. Skill development is another area where very large skill development mission is going on. and UP is contributing to it. Then ease of doing business. In fact, lots of de-layering has been done, and lots of obsolete procedures has been now deleted. So the ease of doing business. So if you see, UP is now getting investments, and we have come over here to say that this is the best time to come to UP and invest in the sector that has been outlined. Single window system is one of the systems created institutionally by the government. It's called Nivesh Mitra. You can go online and express your desire. And there is a grievance redressal system. If you have a grievance with regards to red tapeism or excessive delay in government or any other grievance related to industrial sector, you can go to this site also. We have a very effective grievance redressal system. So welcome to UP. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Singh. I'd now like to request Mr. Alok Ranjan, Chief Secretary, Government of Uttar Pradesh, to come up on stage for his keynote address.
Things are happening in Uttar Pradesh. Things are changing at a very fast pace, as you must have seen in this presentation. I won't go into details because you've already seen that. I'll just mention a few key points. Well, UP is larger than many nations, as you would be aware of. And the population of 220 million, today we are proud to say that if we were a nation, we would be the 5th largest nation in the world in terms of population. And that means something. That means something as far as business is concerned, at the vast customer or consumer base that is available in the Uttar Pradesh. Look at the size of the market. That's the kind of market that you can explore. That's the kind of market where the products can be sold. That's the kind of market you can make an inroad into. So that is Uttar Pradesh for you. And that is the land of opportunity. That's the land with the rising UP, as we're talking about. Apart from that, Uttar Pradesh has got many firsts. I'll just mention it is the largest producer of wheat, it is the largest producer of sugar, the largest producer of milk, the largest producer, third largest producer of fruits and vegetables. So that's kind of base we have in the state of Uttar Pradesh. But apart from this agri sector, now in the infrastructure and industrial sector also, there are many things where we are first in the country. To have investment in the state, we must have an enabling policy framework. And ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you that we have a very positive, a very forward-looking policy network in the state of Uttar Pradesh. We have the Industrial and Infrastructure Policy 2012, which my colleague Manoj Singh talked to you about, with the kind of facilities we're giving for the investors who come into the state of Uttar Pradesh. Apart from that, we have sector-specific policies, like the food processing policy, the textile sector policy, the IT, information technology policy, the electronics manufacturing cluster policy. These are some of the policies which are sector-specific, which have come up in the state of Uttar Pradesh, where we want to attract investment in a particular sector in the state of UP. So there's tremendous transformation that is taking place. So please come and join us and help us in transforming the state of Uttar Pradesh together. Thank you.
Mulling over the spectrum of investment possibilities, the experts deliberated on the ease of doing business in Uttar Pradesh in a special panel discussion.
Mr. Alana, I'd probably like to start with you by asking you about, how you're really viewing the investment opportunities as far as Uttar Pradesh goes. And, just if you can give your audience a sense really of what your own, take is really as far as investments go and your own experience really.
Our investments in UP started 31 years ago, and I'm pleased to say that today we have more investments in UP than in the state of Maharashtra, where we are domiciled. Over the years, we've seen that the opportunities in UP are very large, basically because the state is a surplus producer of a vast range of food products and livestock-based items. The electricity situation in UP in the last 5 years has improved a lot, which has enabled us to reduce our cost of manufacturing, since we are getting electricity from the grid rather than having to generate it by generators.
I want to bring you in, Kulwant, and even as this talk about the diaspora that can be engaged more closely with investments into Uttar Pradesh, what has your own experience been?
It's a very, very
important opportunity for all of us here when you have especially a very young and dynamic Chief Minister who's there as a go-getter. And people from this part of the world, we have built Dubai, we have built major cities across the world. If we have built them, I think we can also build back home infrastructure in India. I see that there are a lot of opportunities that are available in infrastructure, oil and gas, energy, especially smart cities, and maybe also low-cost housing, which are very important projects. And people who have done big projects in this part of the world, especially the Indians, I think these NRIs should go back to UP and consider these sectors for investments.
Ashish, give us a sense of how the legal framework really is geared up towards investments in the state of Uttar Pradesh. What has been your experience?
There are two areas which I feel still need to be addressed, and all of us, the delegation could enhance our knowledge. One is the labor reforms. There is labor unions. How does the UP government intend to deal with that? And second is, although UP on the list of the highest crime cities or states in the country, UP doesn't meet the top place, but there is still a perception that UP law and order is not at par and there is a room for improvement.
So there are two issues which came up just now. One was the perception about the crime situation or the law and order position. And as you rightly said, it's more of a perception issue than anything else, because if you look at statistics, then the position in UP is definitely not as bad as people would think. For instance, now we're just going in with this system integrated we are putting in place for a dial 100. Second is now registration of the FIRs and all through the emails and everything. We are making that possible. We made it possible now. 40% of the FIRs now can be registered through the email where a person is not specifically named. Modernization of our police stations, modernization of the traffic management system, modernization of the forensic laboratories, and more and more forensic laboratories coming up. So the investigation process being modernized and then the whole process of how quickly one can file after investigation a charge sheet, how quickly punishment can be meted out. All these things will help in creating a better perception about the crime situation with the law and order situation. About crime against women, it's very clear. We made it zero tolerance in the state about crime against women. And then 1090 women power line, we reduced with any case of harassment of a woman. She just has to dial 1090 and an immediate response is coming in. It is being attended to. That has been an extremely successful model that has been worked on in the state of Uttar Pradesh. But just that perception has to be tackled, which we are tackling in our way.
On the other side, the panel delves into the subject of investment potential in the manufacturing sector of Uttar Pradesh. Stay tuned. The Uttar Pradesh Investment Forum witnessed a convergence of investors and government officials with the objective of drawing investments from global investors in UP's growth model.
We're going to be talking about a whole host of sectors, including manufacturing, food processing, healthcare, infrastructure, as well as power, and the opportunities really in the state of Uttar Pradesh as far as investments go in terms of the government's policy towards promoting these smart cities. Can you give us a sense of how the Uttar Pradesh government is looking at developing these clusters in terms of the smart cities and the infrastructure and the hubs really around them?
Yeah, it's actually a very new concept still, smart cities. And frankly, I feel not many people have a very clear idea what a smart city means. And it means a different thing to a different person. It will be something different for a sociologist, it will be something different for an environmentalist, it will be something different for a technology man. But all said and done, now that this word has caught on, we are also working on this. And of the 100 cities selected by the Government of India to be developed as smart cities, 13 of them were to be taken from the state of Uttar Pradesh. And I'm told Lucknow in particular, they are taking up immediately for development of smart city. But that is just at one stage. Now, when you say smart cities, many things have to be done in that city. And apart from this, I mean, if we talk of the smart thing, where even our Chief Minister has gone ahead for smart villages. He doesn't like the word smart village, of course. It's a different word he's using for that. But then he says, why not the villages? Why cannot develop the villages also in a similar manner? And so we are selecting 300 villages this year under a scheme known as iSparsh for similar kind of development. So that is the kind of scenario. We're working towards it, but I would be the first person to admit that this concept is still very new.
Mr. Sehgal, I want to bring you in and, ask you to also give some information in terms of what is the specific opportunities. How are you looking to work with companies to bring them in as partners on the smart city? And also there was some mention of 75 nodal centers earlier. Give us a sense of the kind of investment opportunities that you're seeing there.
There is a lot of opportunity. You see, two things. One is infrastructure is to be upgraded. And the second thing is the IT-enabled services is to be integrated into the municipal services, other citizen-specific services. So there is plenty of opportunity, and some of the investments will be made by the state governments, while most of it would come through the PPP mode of investment. And there are now rules available for user charges to make these projects economically viable and financially viable. So there are in these smart cities, there are a lot of opportunities available.
And Mr. Verma, that's something that you look at and very closely. How is the government really trying to speed up the process in terms of single window clearances, and what kind of assurances are you giving to people who are looking to invest in the state?
The moment you fill in your basic details and the kind of industry that you want to set up, you'll have a list of all the forms, and those will be compiled into a single form. So once you have filled the details, you don't need to repeat to fill those details, and the form will automatically go to all the departments, and through that single point, that is Udyog Bandhu, Nivesh Mitra, it will come back to us in a digitally signed format. So you won't actually physically have to go to any office, and Udyog Bandhu and Nivesh Kendra, they'll ensure that the clearance is got in a time-bound manner. We have ensured through a Guarantee Act that every service which is given in the industrial, across all the industrial departments, there are 12 departments which give all kind of clearances. So we've ensured that all of them are time-bound. Depending on the size of the project, anything from a week to 3 months for big environmental clearances, we'll ensure that everything is got in that phase itself.
You were talking about the industrial corridors earlier. You were talking about the Trans-Ganga. There is, of course, I understand Lucknow, which is being developed as a major hub, and connectivity to Lucknow, for example, is being improved. What are the specific opportunities? How are you looking at working with companies to partner really as far as these projects go?
I feel that the infrastructure is of paramount importance for any growth of economy. We see a large opportunity, particularly in Uttar Pradesh. We see that Uttar Pradesh represents 16% of the India's population, but its GDP share is barely 9%. So it has that much to catch up, which means that much of opportunity is available for investments. This is the best place that you have come in UAE, where there's a large population of 2.6 million. If I may not be talking very big, it's Indian community which has really built up this country and this city to a very large extent. When we can do here, why can't we do back in our place? I'm sure if, as the Chief Secretary, Honorable Chief Secretary assured, that it is essentially a one window, this one window doesn't open multiple windows inside, there will be people who are waiting in their wings to invest in India.
Two corridors have emerged. One is the expressways, which is coming up, and the other is the freight corridors. Now, UP, what we have done is every 5 kilometers of a new station of a freight corridor, we have declared as an industrial area. So almost 1,70,000 acres of land we have shifted towards industry by this policy. And every new station can bring up logistics. As far as smart cities are concerned, we are making 2 smart cities, one which is a UP version of smart cities. We call it high-tech cities. And we are making these greenfield cities in Allahabad and Kanpur. As you know, the smart city concept in UP has 2 components. One is the brownfield one, where in old cities, all the cities of UP are basically of historical and social cultural origins. So they are devoid of any layout and planning. So how to befit this IT into those cities are one of the concerns. It is easier to implement in a greenfield city where a new area is gone. So we are making these two cities, and we are trying to see that smartness arises in form of the solid waste disposal systems, or everything goes underground. There is a smart monitoring of commutation, then traffic, and then smart monitoring of crime, and even smart monitoring of urban climates, because pollution is one of the concerns which is growing up in India, and it's being monitored now.
Nandi, I want you to come in at this point and talk about, on one hand, of course, you have development, but on the other, you have to have sustained development, and I would like your thoughts on that.
Well, I think, I've been in the UAE for the last 16 years, and I've been always working in the field of sustainable development and smart and all that. I think that's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. If you look at the synergy between a state like Uttar Pradesh, where we are talking of 13 brownfield smart cities being developed and 2 greenfield smart cities. Yeah. I think that model of the concept of smart city is very large and universal. It means different things to different people, but I think there's a very specific framework that can be used to define what smart city is. The challenge, I think, is more in terms of execution of that. In terms of the vision, it has been laid out, which is fantastic, that India wants to develop smart cities. But in terms of execution, I think the execution expertise exists in Dubai. It has already been done. So I think there's a lot of expertise that can be taken from here. In terms of the sustainability and clean tech sector, National Bank of Abu Dhabi a few months back announced that they have created a development fund of $10 billion that will fund only clean tech projects. So there is a lot of opportunity for tapping into investments like that. We have initiatives in Abu Dhabi called Masdar, who are funding projects globally on clean tech projects. So these are a lot of combination of expertise that can be taken very, very easily. And it's a matter of just providing the right facilitation to them, and smart cities can come up overnight in India.
The forum also witnessed the signing of several MOUs between UAE-based companies and the UP government as a pledge to invest in the state's upcoming manufacturing, utilities and healthcare initiatives. Getting off on the right foot, the forum culminated on a high note as the Uttar Pradesh government successfully established strong business ties with the UAE.